Hey, good evening, Tigers. Just Yearn here. You are now listening to WSPR, Short Stories and Poems Radio. Thank you guys for tuning in with me. I won't keep you for too long, I promise. My question to you guys is, have you ever been through a creative rut? Have you ever been through a creative rut? This whole week, it's only Tuesday. Last week and this week, rather, I've hit a creative wall. I felt stuck. I feel like I'm on this level and I can't defeat the boss in order to go to the next level. And God always says, He's trying to teach you something before He promotes you. So I'm here thinking about being stuck, wanting to create so many ideas in my mind. And I know that some of you Tigers can relate, especially this year with everything that has transpired and going on. How are you? Well, first, have you been in a creative rut? And two, how'd you get yourself out of it? You know, I think what did it for me was trying to do these YouTube videos. And I did about two or three, which I thought were great topics. And as I was going through the editing process, some people call it post production. Well, when I was in that phase, I didn't like what I was editing, and I had to ask myself some serious questions. And I said, how come I do not like this work? What expectations am I putting on this? Is this a topic that I really want to talk about, that I really want you Tigers to learn about? Or is this something that I'm just pushing to get on a YouTube algorithm to say that I am posting? And I have to be real with myself, you know, and ask myself those questions. I really want to inspire. I definitely want a million subscribers, a million views, yada, 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 do this full time. However, I have to be real with myself and real with my videos. And you know me, I'm not one for forcing anything. I'm an air sign. Excuse me. Hold on one second, guys. I'm gonna get some water. Sorry about that. All right. Thanks. But I'm an air sign, and I don't want to force anything. I'm very, I'm, I'm, I'm very alert, or what's the word? Intuitive when it comes to energy. So when I feel like things are forced, I kind of just stop myself in the present and trying to analyze where the energy is coming from, why the energy is coming towards me, how it's gonna affect me, how to block it, etc., etc. So during this time, I'm just trying to figure out why I'm in this roadblock and how to solve these problems, especially for being in a creative rut. And first, there are a few things that came to mind. You know, and as I talk through this microphone for your listening ear, I want to just continue to repeat the question: have you ever been in a creative rut? And also, what did you do to get out of it? You know, what was the stem of the creative rut? How long were you in that creative rut? How did it feel when you got into that creative rut? How did it feel when you escaped that creative rut? It's funny. I was on the iCloud earlier and just thinking about all the great artists who have kind of went through a creative rut or some kind of great depression in their own world. And the list of artists kind of just kept going and going. But some of the main ones that are in the forefront of my mind are Picasso, Van Gogh, Jackson Pollock, my favorite artist, Basquiat, and the list goes on. But all these great artists were all battling something, and I think what makes their work so great, which can actually be another segment, is they took their adversity and made art out of it. You know, whatever creative rut they might have been going through or any difficulties, they they made art. You know, they say stress backwards is dessert. So it's best to make something sweet out of any sour moments in your life. So as I was on the iCloud, I was just thinking about how to turn my creative rut into art. How do I turn my adversity into art? Like one of these great artists that I just mentioned. So if you could relate and you hold yourself up high as to one of the great artists that I mentioned, or maybe one of your favorite artists, please, please comment. Please like. Please pass this on to another person, a friend or a family member or a coworker for those who are working, who are battling creative ruts. Sometimes, and I'm, and this is a side note, sometimes we are in a creative ruts and we don't even notice how long we've been in that creative rut. We want to do something and we've been bullshitting, we've been procrastinating, we've been lazy. And you look at 5, 6, 7, sometimes even 10 years later, and you realize that you haven't even moved forward with that one step, which is kind of calling out mental illness to some degree. But like I said, that, that was just supposed to be a side note. I want to go back to that question about overcoming, the creative rut and go back to the artist. And as I was thinking about overcoming and things that I can do to overcome the creative rut, man, I asked you, Tigers, the question, what do you do to come out of a creative rut? The one thing that kind of came to my mind was finding some source of inspiration. Whether it's talking with my close friends, whether it's talking to a family member, whether it's changing up my group or calling somebody else that I haven't talked to in a while, or different things, going out to a park, taking photos, going for a walk, shopping. I mean, a list of things can provide inspiration if you really wanted to, But I was thinking to myself, like, what is really going to do it for me? And I noticed as I asked that question that And I paused for a second, just like I did just now, and I asked myself, am I living in the present? Am I living in the past, excuse me, or am I living in the future? And with that question, I think I was living in the future. And when you live in the past and you live in the future, that's when anxiety can creep in, and that's also when depression can creep in. So I had to cancel that question out of my mind and try to stay in the present. I'm in this creative rut. I want to do X, Y, and Z. How do I switch it up? And this episode gave birth for my creative rut. Come to think about it, right? I was doing so many YouTubes and I wasn't liking it. And it just came on to me just right now that I am beating my creative rut by doing this episode called The Creative Rut. Wow. You know, Tigers, I still feel like I'm in a creative rut. And I said I wouldn't keep you so long. So I hope that this message has inspired you to some degree. But if you ever battled being in a creative rut, please comment below, share your thoughts. Let's get the conversation started. Actually, I dare somebody to comment. I dare somebody listening to this, if you got to this point, to comment about your creative rut and what did you do to overcome it. I dare you, Tigers. Let's go. Game's on. Fourth quarter stretch. Let's get into Tigers. Once again, I said I wasn't going to keep you for so long. If you like this, like, comment, share. Also, to all the new Tigers listening, don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and join the family. Join the family. Just Yearn, signing off. You have now listened to another episode of WSPR, Short Stories and Poems Radio. Until the next episode, be safe out there. Don't forget, yearn to succeed and follow your dreams. Peace.